you this before. I don't usually read anything about myself. I don't look at the tabloids or the internet unless it's about me being pregnant, and then how else would I know? I got to find out. But I heard there was an article written about me, and I would like to address it right now. It's a pastor who wrote an article for the Christian Post where he accuses Hollywood of having a gay agenda and said that Ellen DeGeneres celebrates her lesbianism and marriage in between appearances of guests like Taylor Swift to attract young girls.
Hi, Ellen. I don't have a band and a live audience here and can't get up and start dancing all around, but I wanted to share a few things from my heart with you. Yesterday morning, I awoke to discover you spoke to me directly on your nationally syndicated award-winning talk show. Personally, I really was stunned, and I was humbled because I believe you're such an incredibly gifted comedian with a God-given gift to entertain and make people feel genuinely valued. Plus, you know, you've got that megawatt smile that simply, it makes people feel happy. You concluded, though, your remarks to me and the audience by saying,
Larry, the only way I'm trying to influence people is to be more kind and compassionate with one another. That is the message that I'm sending out. I don't have an agenda.
And in that same spirit, can I appeal to you to consider some thoughts, although we do share different worldviews? Contrary to what many may think, having heard some of the quotes from my article, I'm approaching you today not as an angry, mean-spirited fundamentalist, but rather in a spirit of humility as a would-be friend. In fact, I'd love to chat with you one day and have a cup of coffee. You once said, and again I quote, "Stay true to yourself. Never follow someone else's path unless you're in the woods and you're lost and you see a path." Well, you know, years ago, I really was lost. I played in a band, ironically called the Lost Souls. But you know, I found a path of redemption in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And now, 45 years later, I continue to follow him and his revolutionary teachings. And what I want to share with you is out of a commitment just to be a faithful servant who upholds those teachings. Now, you were raised Christian Scientist, and maybe you saw similar blemishes that I did and still do in the Christian church. I admit we've unfortunately we've fallen far short in our testimony due to divorce, hypocrisy, scandals, and uncharitable attitudes in our ranks. And then in the area of sexuality, plus we're all broken. We have temptations. We struggle. I want to help people by being authentic and part of a generation, not so much imposing, but rather proposing a better way that really does lead to peace and freedom, stability, and long-term happiness. Now, to give you a glimpse into my life, a while back I have a friend, John, who wrestled with his sexual identity until he found the path to wholeness and healing in Christ. We walked the journey together as he battled the ravages of AIDS. It was so painful to watch. I listened, I encouraged, I reassured him along with his precious daughter prior to his premature death. Later, I was able to take care of his memorial service in a way that I trust inspired all of his former gay friends who attended to reflect on his life and theirs. Now, Ellen, hasn't the time arrived for everyone involved in this dialogue on gay-related issues to lower our voices and approach one another with respect and civility, even though we have our differences? Now, I know there's a lot of shouting, accusations, name-calling on all sides of the gay debate, but how about you and I model something positive? Let me put you to the test. Even though you'll probably disagree passionately on what I say, can you grant me the freedom to be forthright with you and faithful to biblical teaching for which I'll one day give an account? All right, here goes. Now, you said, I'm quoting, "I don't have an agenda." Well, if I was sitting right across from you, you might give me a fist bump along with a wink and a nod and just tell me that was just a joke. Where I cited you, quote, celebrating your lesbianism, you said,
Larry, I don't even know what it means to celebrate my lesbianism. I mean, well, I guess I do. It's like that. There.
Remember, the premise of my article was that Hollywood has a definite gay agenda, and you are aligned with it. In 1997, you were on the cover of Time magazine declaring, "Yes, I'm gay," after declaring it on your sitcom. You're an outspoken representative for the Human Rights Campaign Coming Out Project and a member of the advocacy group FLAG, Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. In the quote you shared on TV, I want to reassure you that I never thought or implied that you were trying to purposely influence young girls into lesbianism. Instead, my point was that as an out and proud lesbian woman, probably the best known and most loved in the world, you wield tremendous influence over these girls, and your influence is decidedly pro-lesbian. Wouldn't you agree? Also, when you say you don't have an agenda, I understand you are a committed vegan who promotes the lifestyle on your website and encourages adopting turkeys rather than eating them at Thanksgiving. You stand strongly for animal rights by having the Humane Society leaders on your show, along with once being PETA's Woman of the Year. Plus, you promote and raise funds for transcendental meditation. Now, I don't begrudge you these involvements. They're indicative of your personal agenda. I only appeal, shoot straight. Secondly, you said that, quote, Larry is watching a lot of gay TV.
So in the article, the pastor criticizes a lot of TV shows for promoting gay agendas. He says that Glee has over 5 characters. Modern Family had a gay wedding. Anderson Cooper boasts about his homosexuality. If you ask me, Larry's watching a lot of gay TV.
Truth be known, I don't watch much TV at all, let alone gay TV, but you sure don't need to, look very far to understand what I call the avalanche in culture today. Now, regarding my suggestion that responsible parents take advantage of wholesome classic shows to supplement their TV viewing, you got some laughs by mocking this idea and then jokingly portrayed Lucy and Ethel as possible lesbians.
His solution is for parents to encourage their kids to watch classic TV shows like Little House on the Prairie and I Love Lucy. It's not like I Love Lucy is a great example for kids. She's shoving all that chocolate in her mouth. That's not good for kids. And then I did some research. If you don't think Lucy and Ethel had something going on, explain this picture right here. What's going on?
Well, without children, you may not understand the awesome responsibility it is to really shape impressionable and vulnerable children. I've done it with children and grandchildren. Plus, I've been helping parents for over 42 years with this very challenging task. Now, you once said, and I quote, I don't need a baby growing inside me for 9 months. If I'm going to feel nauseous and achy when I wake up, I want to achieve that state the old-fashioned way, getting drunk the night before. Now, Ellen, those of us raising children and grandchildren make lots of responsible choices to ensure the little ones entrusted to our care become productive and healthy individuals. And in that spirit of kindness and compassion that you advocate, I just ask, give us some space here. Finally, and this is probably going to be the biggest test with what I share, you obviously disagreed with the fact that I referred to, I put in quotes, marriage, your marriage, in quotation marks.
First of all, I'm not married. I'm married. That's all.
I'm not trying to be offensive, yet I'm appealing that you recognize that truth can offend the sensibilities of those that are rejecting it. Ellen, a nation rises or falls on marriage. If we dismantle this pillar of society as it has existed for over 5,000 years of Western civilization, and we redefine it to accommodate other arrangements such as yours, or people advocating for polyamorous or polygamous or other configurations, what's going to be the consequences for this sacred institution and the future of our nation? The true Christian church has to stand as a sign of contradiction amid ever-changing cultural trends. With kindness and courage, we have to remain faithful to the truth, whether it's popular or not. We should honor a higher law than man, just as Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. expressed in his classic Letter from a Birmingham Jail, and is magnificently portrayed in the film Selma. Now, in his song Mercy, Bono, he stated that love is charity and brings with it a clarity. So let me close by just submitting to you, with charity and clarity, marriage is, and throughout history, has always been the union of a man and a woman, regardless of what the courts say, and regardless of how much you and Portia genuinely feel affection for each other. Now, let me give you 5 of the many reasons why gay marriage is morally wrong and cannot be called a righteous, authentic marital union. Number 1, it violates the clear and unambiguous moral teaching of the Scriptures, which serve as the basis for our Judeo-Christian laws and foundations as a nation. Number 2, it's contradictory to the self-evident truths of Mother Nature, or nature's God, as our founding fathers expressed it, wherein men and women are designed and function differently, complement, complete each other, and through the wonder of marital union are able to procreate, to perpetuate the human race. Number 3, it's contrary to the explicit teaching of every major world religion, which upholds the integrity of marriage and family. Number 4, Ellen, it is an injustice, and it's unequivocally a harmful arrangement wherein our most precious entrustment, our children, are denied the love and nurture of a father and a mother who complement each other in a healthy family. And lastly, number 5, It redefines and devalues the institution of marriage exclusively between a man and a woman. It opens the floodgates for other arrangements, and it legitimizes a lifestyle replete with dangerous, at-risk sexual behavior, such as HIV/AIDS and over 30 STDs that are endangering lives, jeopardizing our healthcare, and impacting our economy. Now, there are multiple times in the Hebrew Christian Bible where homosexual behavior is explicitly prohibited as dishonoring God and natural order, plus it's destructive to those involved with them. Scripture throughout forbids us to be sexually involved in 7 areas. What are they? 1, parents. 2, children. 3, with siblings. 4, with another person's spouse. Number 5, with animals. 6, the deceased. And yes, number 7, same sex. Ellen, thank you. I mean this sincerely, for opening this door of communication. And if you would allow me the opportunity to continue this dialogue, this conversation with you, and I hope you feel my spirit coming through, I'd love to give you a Bible. And then you start to explore a little bit. I think you'll find some revolutionary truth that I trust will enhance your life and enable you to better fulfill your destiny.